Hello, welcome everyone. I see we have a few folks who have already joined us. So my name is Erica Palmer, and today's webinar session will be on Summer Rising, the Summer Rising program. So I am going to go ahead and launch a very quick poll. This is really
Erica, share
just
the screen with your presentation.
I will go ahead and do that. Thank you. All right, so for those who have just joined us, we have a very short poll on the screen. This is just really to give us a sense of who is in the room today. So please just go ahead, let us know, are you a student? And by student, we need in New York City Public Schools. Are you a parent of a student in public schools, an educator, or some other professional? You may be both. Just choose whatever is most applicable to your role today. As you are here with us. And we'll just wait another, minute or two, and then we will go ahead and get started with our presentation. So thanks to everyone who's answered our poll. Thanks for everyone who's here. We appreciate it. And we will be getting started very soon. We do have a Q&A here today, so go ahead if you know you already have questions. We will try to answer as many questions as we can. Certainly go through and put your questions in the Q&A as we go through the presentation. And like I said, we will get started very soon. All right, so it is 4:03. We only have an hour, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. So welcome everyone. My name is Erica Palmer. I am an attorney at Advocates for Children. And today's presentation is going to be about the ins and outs of Summer Rising, which is the DOE's free summer enrichment program for all students in New York City. So today we're going to do an overview of what Summer Rising is. So, what does the program look like? What are the dates? What types of supports are available to students? We will then talk a little bit about specialized supports that are available to students with disabilities and English language learners. We will talk about transportation. I know that is always a hot topic. So we'll talk about what transportation is available to families. We will walk you through how to apply to Summer Rising. So I will show you all how to use the application portal to sign your students, their children up. And then we will give some tips at the end about how to troubleshoot issues that come up, resources and contacts that you can go to if you are experiencing issues with signing up or any other issues related to Summer Rising. So that's our agenda for today. Before we get to that, just wanted to introduce you all to those who are not familiar with Advocates for Children. We are an independent nonprofit agency whose mission is to protect the rights of all New York City students. And over the years, our mission has really expanded. So when we started our focus, we were founded by parents of students with disabilities. And when we started, our focus was really on advocating for children with special education needs. We continue to do that, but our mission has expanded to encompass really ensuring all students have access to appropriate educational services in New York City. And we have lots of different projects that focuses on a variety of topics, including early childhood education, older youth, students who are in immigrant families or learning English, families, children who attend charter schools. I work with students who are involved in the foster care system. So we have a variety of projects. We do have a helpline. The number is here. It's open from Monday through Thursday from 10 to 4. Anyone can call. We take calls from everyone. Anyone can call during those hours. We do have folks who speak Spanish who answer our calls, as well as interpretation in lots of other languages. You can also check out our website. We have a lot of guides and resources online designed for parents. We do workshops and trainings like this for the public, and then we also do provide free legal services to low-income families. If you think you might need representation or assistance, you can go ahead and call our helpline to get through our intake process. Also wanted to, in addition to the guides and resources on our website, we also have a number of webinars available on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube and search for Advocates for Children of New York, you will see our YouTube channel. These are some recent webinars that we have presented. So folks, there's information on 3K and pre-K options, bullying, behavioral supports for students with disabilities, applying to middle school and high school, and then you'll also see some videos up there from families, young people, as well as parents on the transition from high school to college for students with disabilities. So lots of resources up on our website, lots of information out there that is available for parents. So if we don't answer your questions today, or if it's not about summarizing, we might have a webinar on our website that will answer some of your other questions. And if not, of course, reach out to us, call our helpline, email us. We'll share that information again at the end of the training. So summarizing, we're going to start off with a little poll, and we're going to try this out. We're going to ask folks to use Slido. So for those of you who are not familiar, how you do it is you get out your phone. So get out your phone, scan the barcode up on the left-hand corner of the slide, and that will take you to a link that will allow you to participate in the survey. So I'm just curious from the folks who are on the call, did anyone's children participate in Summer Rising last summer? So you can go ahead and select yes, no, or maybe you wanted to, but you weren't able because there were no seats left. We know there were some issues. So please go ahead, curious to see, cast your votes. We'll see what experiences folks have had. So it does look like we have had at least one person, it looks like maybe two, who have had children participate in the past, maybe a few more, so that is great. I'm glad. I hope you're I'm curious to hear what your experiences were like. And I'm glad to see that only one person selected, we wanted to, but there were no seats left. So I know last year there was a big issue with the application process at many schools. They literally filled up the first day. And a lot of families who are interested in applying did not get an opportunity to. So this year, the DOE has changed the process. There is a 2-week application period instead of just first come, first serve. And we are hopeful that that will really help in enabling more students to participate and having a fair process for families to register their kids. So for those of you who answered yes, your child did participate in Summer Rising last year. I am curious, what was your experience like? Just in a few words, did they have a good time? Was it maybe a little rough? What did they like best about the program? Anything that you feel like would be helpful for other families to know about your child's experience? Please go ahead and type it in the poll. We won't have your name, but I'm interested in seeing what folks' experiences were. Love the school portion of the day, struggled with the unstructured camp part. Interesting. Need more outings. I think the outings were probably, but for many students, they really enjoyed the outings. And so certainly I could see why they might want more. I can also see a student, particularly if this child struggles with attention or, might need a more structured environment, that the after school part might be tough. Sounds like, another person had a good experience, so that is good. So yeah, I mean, I think one thing we really want to stress is it is not your typical summer school. And as we go through the training and talk a little bit more about what summarizing is, I think folks will get a better understanding. But it is not just meant to be, catching up on what you missed in the year, preparing kids to pass standardized tests. That is not the idea behind summarizing. It really is meant to be an enrichment program. And so it is good to hear that for the most part, even if folks might have struggled with a few things, that most people did, have a good experience. Types of summarizing programs. Really, when we talk about summarizing, we are talking about grades K to 8, but there are some enrichment programs that DOE is offering for high school students as well. So I want to cover them both. So when we're thinking about summarizing for the younger kids, we're talking about the general summarizing program, which is open to all students. There is also, what we think of traditionally as summer school that will be required for children whose promotion is in doubt. And then we do have 12-month programs. For students with IEPs that recommend 12-month services, right? Then for high school students, again, we have, the summer school for kids that are mandated for summer school. There is also a career development component that the Department of Education continues to expand for high school students. And then again, for high school students with 12-month IEPs, they would get their District 75 or ESY programs. So in general, summarizing is a partnership between the New York City Department of Education and the New York City Department of Youth and Community Development, or DYCD. It is a free program for all New York City residents, and you don't actually need to be enrolled in a New York City public school to attend. So for students who are currently in charter schools or private schools, their parents can also sign them up for summarizing. It includes breakfast and lunch and a snack. And for students in grades K to 8, the school is going to design the program in partnership with a community-based organization. For the older students, it's more like traditional summer school, but there is a career development component. And I'll talk a little bit more in a few slides about what that will look like for high school students. It is also, it's going to differ for the high school kids because a lot of it is dependent on what courses they need, and it will be a little bit dependent on what school they attend. So just want to make that clear. And then for the most part, it will be in person. It is full day, Monday through Friday. So full 6 or 7 week summer program. This slide goes over the dates. So when is summarizing taking place? I know initially someone had asked, when does the application period start for summarizing? It has already started. So families that are interested have to apply between April 17th and May 1st. So next Monday, May 1st will be the last day to apply. So for students that are in grades K to 5 participating in summarizing, they will be, for the most part, unless they have a 12-month IEP, their dates will be July 5th through August 18th. So that is 7 weeks. It's Monday through Friday. The morning portion, so 8 through 12, is academics. And the afternoon portion, 12 p.m. to 6 p.m., is extended day. So that's the enrichment, the fun stuff. For students in grades 6 to 8, so middle school kids, it's 6 weeks, July 5th to August 11th, same schedule, academics in the morning, enrichment in the afternoon. Then when we talk about students with 12-month IEPs, the academic portion of the day as well as of the calendar will be based, it's going to be based more on their IEP mandates. So for students in District 75, they're going July 6th to August 15th. It's regular school day, roughly 8 to 2:30 or whatever their school day is. And then the afternoon is optional. If parents sign up for summer rising, they can stay until 6. Same for students with 12-month IEPs who are in District 1 through 32 schools. There are a handful of ESY sites, starting extended school year sites in each borough. And for those students, again, they will have a regular school day, Monday through Friday, approximately 8 to 2:30, whatever the hours of that school is, but they have the option to stay until 6 p.m. for the enrichment and fun stuff, again, if you sign up through the portal. And then finally, if any of you have students that are in ASD Nestor Horizon programs and get 12-month services, the ASD programs only run from July 5th through August 1st, and they are Monday through Thursday from 8 to 12. However, if you want your child to participate in enrichment, you can sign them up. They will be able to stay till 6 p.m. They will be able to go on Fridays. And if they're in K to fifth grade, they will be able to go through August 18th. If in middle school, they will be able to participate through August 11th. So definitely, if you think your child can handle that long day and you want them to sign up, definitely encourage you to do so, so they can do the academics and the special education part, as well as the fun and enrichment part. The next slide goes over a little bit about what we mean when we say the academic portion of the day. So for students, in the general summer rising population, so kids who do not have 12-month IEPs, their morning will be focused on academics. So that means ELA, literacy, math, and STEM. It's provided by, DOE teachers, along with some curriculum focused on social emotional learning. By STEM, we mean science, technology, engineering, and math. So think things like robotics or, doing fun science experiments, more hands-on types of things. Students that are in 12-month programs because of their IEPs are also going to get, that specialized IEP instruction and whatever related services are mandated on their IEPs. The nice thing about Summer Rising is CBO staff are going to be there during the morning to support teachers during academic instruction. So it's not just like the staff who work in the afternoons with the students are showing up at 12 o'clock and taking over, right? They're going to be there all day, and they can actually learn from the teachers about how to support how to support kids that might have additional needs. So I think that's good that they are integrated into the academic portion of the day as well. And then finally, students that are promotion and doubt and are mandated for summer school. And you would already have heard if your child is promotion and doubt, but it won't be until June when you'll know whether or not they're mandated to attend summer school. They will automatically be enrolled in the morning section, right? The academics, but you have to apply now if you want them to do the extended day, the enrichment portion. So again, just encourage you to go ahead and apply. That way your child can participate in both aspects of the Summer Rising program. All right, so that's the academics. In terms of the enrichment, like I mentioned, this is a partnership with different community-based organizations. And those CBO staff are the ones that will be providing the services from either 12 to 6 or 3 to 6, depending on what program your child is in. If you want them to participate in the extended day, you do have to apply now. So apply before May 1st. And it is optional for students with 12-month IEPs and students who are mandated for summer school. So you certainly don't have to sign your kids up, but if you want to, now is the time to do it. What do they do? Just really different fun activities. So it could include sports, games, arts, dance. I heard about programs that had visual arts, they had drama, they had singing, yoga. Really just depends on the program, but there's a lot of different activities that are a part of it. Social emotional learning is also a part of it, as well as trips. And, for the kids, a lot of them, that is their favorite part, right? Going on the trips. For the younger kids, so kids in kindergarten through fifth grade, their 7th week is all enrichment, right? So the school, the academic part is the first 6 weeks of the summer, and then the last week is all fun. And I should just clarify, because I know this may come up, when we say kindergarten through 5th grade, we mean kids that are currently in kindergarten through 5th grade. So students that students that are in pre-K now that will be in kindergarten in September, they are not eligible. It's kids that are currently in kindergarten through 8th grade who are eligible to sign up for Summer Rising. So just wanted to make that clear. When we talk about trips, here are some examples. So these are pictures I got from a partner at Children's Aid, their Summer Rising program. Examples of trips kids might go on. They could go to the zoo, what that could, the Prospect Park Zoo, the Central Park Zoo. It could be aquariums. They could go to the movies, various museums, botanical gardens, lots of trips to parks. The Circle Line cruise was a big one. Going to like arcades and game, places like Dave and Buster's, as well as, going to athletic events or participating in sports. So these are all just examples of some of the trips that students might go on during the summer with their summer rising program. And that is again, what we expect it to look like for students that are currently in kindergarten through 8th grade who come up with who are registering for summer rising. All right, for high school students, it will look a little different. So the dates for high school are July 5th through August 17th, and the last few days are Regents exam and Regents prep. So August 16th and 17th are the days that the state is administering Regents over the summer. And if you go to the state education department website, you will see the schedule for the Regents exams. The scheduling for summer rising is a little bit determined by the school. There will be some, actually, most of it will be in person, but there are some remote classes available. My guess is that is remote in that the student would go to their site physically, but participate in classes remotely, potentially that were offered, by folks offsite if they need certain, specialized classes that aren't at their particular school. For most students that are doing high school summer programming, it will be partnered with SYEP, the Summer Youth Employment Program. So many of us are familiar with Summer Youth, great program, been around for a while. And so for most kids, that is the sort of career development part of the summer rising. Most high school students, that will be the career development part of their experience will be, the summer youth employment experience. But depending on the type of school they go to, the type of high school, there are some other programs available that I wanted folks to be available. And if you do have kids in high school, the application periods for many of those programs is now. So the first is College Now. College Now is a partnership between the DOE and CUNY, where students can enroll in free college classes. And this is College Now right now for the summer is for rising 11th and 12th graders. So students who are currently in 10th and 11th grade, but will be in 11th and 12th grade next year can sign up for classes through College Now. This is only if the school that they attend participates in College Now, but many high schools do. And so if they're interested in attending, definitely they should talk to their guidance counselor right away. Most of the application deadlines to apply for College Now courses are in May or June. And participating colleges include BMCC, Lehman College, Medgar Evers, City Tech, and Queensborough Community College. There is a minimum GPA, but it will vary depending on what course the student wants to sign up for. But that is pretty much the only requirement. And then again, just that they attend a high school that participates in the program. The Industry Scholars Program is a career and technical education program for students who currently attend career and technical education high schools. So if your child goes to a high school that has a CTE program, they may have summer programming that you want to find out about. And again, that would be, talk to their counselor, sign up through their school. And these are basically 6-week paid internship programs. There's apprenticeship options. Some of it could be courses, but a lot of it is going to be really work-based learning. And again, it's paid. There is a stipend involved. So that's another option for students. And then finally, the Department of Education has a program called the CTE Summer Design Institute. And this is again open to high school students at any high school. So it is meant to focus on visual arts and graphic design. And I know at least last year, the program was offered at Art and Design High School in Manhattan, Thomas Edison in Queens, and Staten Island Tech. And the deadline last year was June 1st. I am not sure what the deadline will be this year. But again, if you have a student who's interested in graphic arts and visual design, I would talk to their counselor right away to see if they can apply to participate in this program. It is a 6 weeks program. There is a stipend as well. So there is a paid component to that too. So these are just some of the career development opportunities that are available to high school students. So even if they're not mandated for summer school, right, there's some enrichment programming that they can apply for. All right. So that is kind of the overview of summer rising. I want to quickly go through some of the specialized supports that are available to students, and then we're going to walk through the application. All right. Okay. So students with 10-month IEPs. So for those of you who have kids that you want to sign up for Summer Rising, they have an IEP, but it's just for 10 months. It's just for the regular school year. Their school is required to develop a Summer Rising accommodation plan for them. These plans are developed by their home school and then provided to you as the parent and the Summer Rising site. So if your child goes to a Summer Rising site that is different from their home school, either because their home school is not open, it might be closed over the summer, maybe they're doing construction, maybe they're just sending all their kids to a different site. The homeschool creates the accommodation plan, and then they must send it and share it with the Summer Rising site so they know what accommodations your child needs. These accommodations could include things like testing accommodations, extra time, preferential seating, um, large print materials or other type of modifications to the classroom materials. It could also include a paraprofessional. So if your child gets a health para during the school year, they will get a one-to-one health para provided for the full day during Summer Rising. They can also get behavioral support paras. Those might be provided during just the academic portion of the day or the full portion of the day, and that is meant to be a sort of individualized determination by the school. There are also group paras available. So if your student, for example, is in a 12-to-1 class during the school year and you want them to do Summer Rising, but are a little worried about the group size and, they're not going to be in a special education class over the summer, what does that look like? There will probably be other kids with IEPs in their class too. And so perhaps a group para would be something that could support them. So that would be a para that they would share with other students, but it's another adult support who could help, with them in terms of monitoring behavior, giving cueing, just helping with attention and things like that. So schools are supposed to be developing these plans. I don't have a timeline yet about when that's happening, but I'm going to assume it will begin as soon as we know which kids are going to Summer Rising. So around mid-May, when the sites are really set, that is the time when schools should be doing this. So I would be in conversation with your school, then and there to start talking about what goes in your Summer Rising accommodation plan. And the next couple of slides show you what last year's Summer Rising accommodation plan looked like. As of Monday, I had not gotten the updated plan from the DOE. I was told it wasn't available yet, but I was also told that this year's plan will look pretty similar. So this is a blank plan from last year. You'll see it includes information, just about the Summer Rising site, your child, whether or not they have an IEP or a 504, if there's any health services, nursing services that are needed, that would be, checked off here, and those would be attached to share with the school. The next slide is a little bit more detailed. It shows you, the different type of one-to-one or group paraprofessionals that can be assigned to students. And of course, you'll see if they have a paraprofessional related to health needs, that is going to be the same during the school portion of the day as well as the enrichment portion. If they have a para for other reasons, that could be the same, but doesn't necessarily have to be. And so that's an opportunity really for you to, do some advocacy if you feel like they do need that support in the afternoon as well, and to figure out with the school what that will look like. As far as I know, there is not like a specific process in place for these plans to be developed. Schools are supposed to develop them, in consultation with parents and share the information with you. But I would say, at the end of the presentation, we're going to talk about sort of next steps if there are concerns. And so I would say if there are concerns about your child's accommodation plans, we can follow those escalation paths, and I'll go over those shortly. For students who are English language learners, so English is not their first language, they, are still learning, still becoming proficient in English and learning. For those students, there will be supports provided during Summer Rising as well. So during the morning, during the academic portion of the day, kids will get language and literacy instruction. And that will look like, support from an English as a new language teacher. It could be a teacher pushing into the classroom and working with the student one-to-one or in a small group, or it could be a co-teaching model where there is an ENL teacher and a second teacher in the room and they're co-teaching the class. So it will really depends on sort of the site and the language needs of the students in that particular program. I've also been told by DOE if there are enough students who require bilingual programming at a summer rising site, then they will have bilingual classes as well for the morning portion, the academic portion of the day. In addition to that, the DOE this year is developing some pilot programs for newly arrived students. So for students whose families may have arrived recently and are seeking refugee status or asylee status, these programs are being developed near shelters where many migrant students live, and they will be paired with CBOs that have specialty working with newcomer children. So those are some additional supports, again, for students that are English language learners that will be offered during summer rising. And then finally, charter schools. So I mentioned earlier that students that apply to charter schools can apply to Summer Rising. There is also a program called Summer Boost, which is available at some charter schools, but not all. Summer Boost is funded by Bloomberg Philanthropies, I believe, and it is not in every charter school. Charter schools have to apply for the funding, but some charter school networks will have summer programming. For schools, charter schools that don't have summer programming, or maybe the parent you just would prefer to apply to Summer Rising instead, you can definitely feel free to do that. So I would suggest really checking with your child's individual charter school to see if they will have summer programming. If they don't, please feel free to sign up for Summer Rising. Even if they do, you can still move ahead and apply with Summer Rising, but just so you know, you can only enroll in one program. You can't do both, which would be very hard given that it is from 8 until 6 p.m. But that, charter students who attend charter schools absolutely have the option to apply to Summer Rising. Just one thing to keep in mind is that you do get priority at the school you attend, right? So for kids that go to charter schools, if they're applying to Summer Rising, they won't, get priority necessarily anywhere. And so I would just keep that in mind and apply to more programs to increase your chances of getting in. All right. So that is sort of, the programmatic piece of Summer Rising. I noticed there were some questions in the Q&A about transportation, and I hope we will be able to address them here. So transportation is available for students who participate in Summer Rising. And basically, students who get busing during the school year will get busing during Summer Rising. So who is eligible? Students who have busing on their IEP, students who qualify for a busing exception. So that could be a student who's living in shelter, a student in foster care, a student who has a medical exception and gets busing for medical reasons. So those kids, if they are getting busing during the school year for those reasons, they will get it for Summer Rising. Students who receive stop to school busing during the regular school year will also be bused for Summer Rising. So if your child goes to a bus stop to go to school, they will also get that in the morning to go to their Summer Rising program. You do need to be more than 0.5 miles from the Summer Rising site. And so I mentioned this only to say, if your school doesn't have a Summer Rising site and you are sent to a different, like there's another Summer Rising site that's affiliated with your school that your child goes to, if that is closer to your home than their regular school, you won't be bused. Similarly, maybe your child walks to school during the school year, but the school they go to doesn't have Summer Rising, so you end up going to a site that's further away. You can get busing to that site. Just know it's probably going to be shuttle busing, so it's going to be busing from your school to the Summer Rising site, not from your home or for like a stop near your home. That said, if your student needs busing because of a disability, definitely I would try to get busing on their IEP just for the summer if they're going to be at a site that's further away. And that is something that can be discussed with the IEP team. And if you're having difficulty with that, you can contact the Central DOE Special Education Team, and I'm going to share the contact information for them at the end. When we talk about transportation, what do we actually mean? So for busing, when we're talking about busing from home or bus stop to the school, That is really just during the regular school day. So it doesn't include the extended portion of the day. It meets in the morning. And if you are just sending your child for the academic portion of the day and they're not staying for the enrichment, then they can take the bus. But the DOE cannot bus students after 3 p.m. So the busing is during the academic portion of the day, morning and afternoon. For students who need transportation in the evening, there is a ride share that's going to be available for qualifying students. And by when we say qualifying students, we basically mean students that get special education transportation, so they have busing on their IEP, or students that have an approved exception. So those kids, you will get ride share for your child. So the DOE, last I heard, did not know what company it was going to be yet, but think like Uber, right? So basically the DOE would provide you with a code so that you could log in and request a ride from your work site or from your home to the school to pick up your child, and then you would get rideshare coming home. So you would be able to go to the school using the rideshare to pick your child up or the summer rising site and then bring them home in that car service. They do need to be accompanied by an adult, so kids cannot be riding by themselves. Remember, these are students in grades K to 8, so there does need to be an adult with them, but it does include that ride from work home to the summer rising site for the parent. So you can use those car service to get your child. Metro cards are also available. So if it's easier for you to pick up your child, they take the bus in the morning, they could get a Metro card. You can bring them home in the evening if that is easier for you. And then in addition, Metro cards are available, for kids who don't qualify for busing necessarily in the morning as well. There is also alternate PM drop. So again, for those of you that have children with IEPs who maybe are going to a 12-month IEP program, you can, if they're going to be coming home at 3 p.m., you can do the alternate PM drop-off form. And so they can be dropped off at another location as well, just like during the regular school year. How do you request busing? So the DOE says that students who get busing during the school year will automatically be routed. um, I I can only trust them that when they say this. So you don't actually request busing, it should just be in place. So if your child is bused now, they're getting busing now, that bus route should continue over the summer. It obviously becomes complicated if your family moves. So if you do move, make sure to tell the school right away. Make sure they update your child's address right away in the computer system. If you need to do an exceptions request for any reasons, like your child has a medical exception for busing, make sure to complete that ticket requesting the medical exceptions request as soon as possible so that busing can be in place. As long as you complete the summarizing application on time and there are no changes to your address, any child that's registered by May 19th, the DOE says they will have a bus route in place by July 5th. So hopefully that is true. Hopefully we can hold them to that. But again, if there are issues, we'll provide some information at the end of the presentation about how to escalate issues related to transportation. So how do you apply for summarizing? So in the next section, I'm going to walk you through the application and provide some additional information. So families must apply between April 17th and May 1st. And typically the placements go out around May 8th. So what the DOE has said is that it'll be about a week from the close of the registration period to when you find out. So it is a pretty quick turnaround. So at least you will know fairly quickly. We don't have an exact date that it's May 8th, but it'll be sometime around that date. These students will get priority for summer rising. So any student who is mandated for summer school will get priority to also participate in summer rising. If the student is in temporary housing or if they're in foster care, they will get priority for the program. So will students with 12-month IEPs. And then after sort of that level, if a child is currently enrolled in an after-school program with a particular CBO and you want them to participate in the summer rising program that community-based organization runs, you will get priority for that program. So basically the CBOs are prioritizing students that they already work with during the regular school year. And then, like I mentioned earlier, students get priority at their home or affiliated school. So if your school has a summer rising site, you will get priority for that site. If they don't, but you are affiliated with a school nearby, then you'll get priority for that affiliated summer rising site. You apply online. This is the website, nyc.gov/summerrising. In order to apply, the most important thing is to have your child's 9-digit OSIS number handy, or 9-digit New York City ID. You might know it that way. Families can rank up to 12 programs to increase their child's chances of getting a seat, except if you are in one of the 12-month IEP programs. Then they are asking that you just list programs that are affiliated with that school site or your child's school. And that's because of the time difference, right? They don't want kids to miss out on the enrichment because they're being bused to another program. So for the extended school year sites, they will have the kids that are in the 12-month programs that are in District 1 through 32 schools. Those sites will have, one or two summer rising programs inside of them that you can apply to. For children in District 75 programs, not every District 75 site will have a summer rising right there on site. And so they're asking you to apply to a site in one of the nearby schools. Students that are currently in 5th grade, so rising 6th graders, can apply to K-5 programs or 6 to 8 programs, so middle school or elementary school. So a lot of choice there. And then the DOE did stress that parent coordinators are really responsible for helping families complete applications. So if you do need assistance, talk to the parent coordinator at your school. They can actually complete applications for you. Any families in shelters or children in foster care, the shelter-based and students in temporary housing staff can also complete applications for them. So I am curious if anyone has already completed the Summer Rising applications. So yes, you've already completed it. If so, awesome. you are doing well. If not, or, have you had issues? Maybe you tried to complete the application, but you had some kind of trouble and weren't able to do it. So just go ahead and vote. Just curious. It looks like at least one person has completed the application, so that's good. And it looks also like no one has tried to do it but couldn't, so that is also good. All right. So yeah, it looks like we have a few people who have completed it. I hope that when you did, you found that it was relatively straightforward. I will say, I did the application, I walked through it myself, and I have done it in past years, and I thought it was a lot easier than in the past. So that was good, at least. All right, so this is how you apply. You go to the DOE website, the address is right here, and you click on the link that says apply for a Summer Rising seat. And that will take you directly to the Summer Rising application portal, which looks like this. So you start out by entering your information, so parent or guardian information. It basically asks for your name, email address, phone number, and address. So relatively straightforward. Just wanted to point out in the upper right-hand corner of the page, there is a section to select your language. So the DOE has translated this application into Arabic, Bengali, Chinese, French, Haitian Creole, Korean, Russian, Spanish, and Urdu. So you can complete the application in any of those languages. Once you fill out parent or guardian information, there will be a button at the bottom of the page to click continue, and then it will take you to the next page, which looks like this, which is where you enter your child's information. So if you have your child's 9-digit New York City ID number, that is all you need. Enter their name, put your relationship to the student, so whether it's parent or grandparent or other relative or legal guardian or social worker, anything like that. Put that in, put in the child's ID number, and then they will, they should, if they attend, if you have an ID number for them, they should already be in the system. So it should show up with your child's name and their ID number already preloaded. If your child does not have a student ID number for any reason, I think, for example, somebody had put in the chat that they were moving to New York City, or their child was moving to New York City over the summer, you should be able to do it without a student ID. So you put in the child's name. I will show you what that looks like. You put in the child's name, date of birth, their current grade, their gender, and there is a drop-down menu where you can enter their school. If their school is not in the preloaded menu, I would suggest reaching out to the summarizing team at DOE. It's summer@schools.nyc.gov. Again, we'll provide that information at the end of the training as well, but I would suggest reaching out to them for assistance in registering your child, because as long as your child is a New York City resident, they can sign up for Summer Rising. And I have heard, at least the first couple days that the portal was open, there were some issues registering kids who go to private schools. So even though the private schools were in the application, for whatever reason, their children weren't showing up. So if you do have issues getting into the application portal for your child, I haven't heard about it if they attend a New York City public school, but if they don't, if you've had issues being able to access the portal, definitely email the summer enrollment folks. They are aware that there have been some issues with kids who go to private schools in particular, and they're working on addressing those. So, just reach out before May 1st so you can make sure that you can complete an application for them. But once you fill in this information for your child, then click continue. You should be able to see your child's name and their current school loaded at the next page where it says program information. The first program that will show up is the one that is affiliated with your child's school. So if you want them to go there, just click add preference, and then it will pop up on the list. You do need to select at least 3 programs. So it won't let you just choose one. You have to choose at least 3. And I will just caution you that when you click on the drop-down menu, the schools that appear are just in alphabetical order. They are not necessarily in the order that is closest to you or your child's school. There is a separate website you can go to with a map of all of the programs, and that will help you select additional programs to apply to. So I will show you that in just a second. But once you add the preference, you'll see, you can just continue to add preferences in rank order. So first preference, and then just keep adding as you go through. Like I said, you could rank up to 12, but you do have to rank at least 3. And some schools will have multiple programs. They might have multiple CBOs associated in the same building. So you can pick multiple programs in the same building if you want to. But once you have all your preferences loaded, click continue. And that will take you to the final page of the application. Before we do that, I want to show you how to find Summer Rising programs. So you can access a map from the DOE's website. So just again, go back to their Summer Rising page and scroll down to where it says program locations. Click on this map. Click on the link, and it will take you to a map of all the Summer Rising sites in the city. So you can see here, I've basically just zoomed in to the neighborhood around where this particular student school is, and I can see all of the Summer Rising sites nearby. If you click on the pin, it'll tell you what school it is, it will give you the address, and it will tell you the name of the CBO, as well as any affiliated schools that are associated with that site. The pins are different colors, basically. So the yellow pins are grades 6 to 8 sites, so middle school sites. The purple pins are elementary school sites, and the blue sites serve kids in grades K to 8. So once you zoom in, you can pretty easily start selecting other nearby sites that you may want to add to your child's application. So my recommendation would be go to this map first, locate your child's school or affiliated program, and then identify any other nearby sites that you want to apply to. Then once you have your list, go into the application portal and you can put in all of the different preferences that you have. Once you've finished and you've added all of your preferences, basically it's just going to ask you to review your application. So go through, make sure the information is correct. And you can go ahead and click submit and you will be done. You will get a confirmation email to the email address that you put in saying that your application had been received. I saw there was a question about if you can edit your application. So yes, once you put it in, the email that you get back will allow you, there will be a link you can click on actually to withdraw your application if you decide, never mind, they got into another camp, you don't want them to go to summarizing. Or if you want to modify your application or edit it, you can click on that link and go back in and revise your application. And if you do revise your application, that new one will supersede any, previous one that you've done. And you have until May 1st to continue to revise and edit your application if you want to do that. All right. So that is how you fill out the application. Again, I will tell you once you once you have the list of programs you want to apply to, it's very quick. It takes about 5 minutes to do. I saw there was a question about, is this a lottery? So yes, but it is based on priority as well. So it is a lottery system, but it's students are admitted based on the priority levels I went through. So again, students who are mandated for summer school get first priority. Then we're looking at students in foster care, students in temporary housing, and students with 12-month IEPs. And then the next level of priority is kids that are currently enrolled in an after-school program with that CEO, as well as kids that are affiliated with the particular school. So if you do get a seat, what happens next? Basically, there will be some additional paperwork you have to complete once your child is assigned to a summarizing site, and that's forms required by the community-based organization for the enrichment portion of the day. It's the same forms you would complete for any summer camp. So basically, they will need to have a current physical on file, and you'll need to fill out emergency contacts. So who can pick up your child, essentially? Who are the emergency contacts? You'll need to complete those forms before summarizing begins. If you find out later that your child was mandated for summer school, they will need to attend the summarizing site either at their school or the affiliated school. So if you, for example, sign them up for a summarizing site near your work, but it turns out your child was mandated for summer school, they're going to need to go to the site that's, affiliated with their school during the regular school year. And the DOE will notify you if your child needs to change sites, but don't worry, they will get in. They're not going to not allow you to participate. They are saving some seats for kids that are mandated for summer school. There will not be a wait list. Last year there was one. I heard kids being placed in programs in other boroughs. They're not doing a wait list this year. So if you are not able to get in, or maybe you didn't get into the site you wanted, you can contact individual community-based organizations to see if a seat has opened up. There will be, I'm sure, families that withdraw over the course of the year between now and the beginning of the summer. So if you want to keep trying, you can call into CBOs of individual programs to see if the space has opened up anywhere. And they will be doing direct enrollment. The community-based organization that's running the enrichment program will be doing the enrollment for their kids. This slide just shows you, this just shows you an example of a packet that you might get from a CBO. So this is one I got for a student I worked with last year. And basically it just provides you information about the program. What does drop off and pick up look like? What clothes are students expected to wear? What types of food, can they bring, things like that. There's an acknowledgement form they want the parent and the student to sign. And this would also include, the form for the doctor to complete for the physical. But, it'll vary obviously widely depending on what program, but most of the programs, as soon as the students are accepted, you should get this welcome packet via email from the CBO, just welcoming your child to the summarizing program. All right, what do you do if there are problems? We know sometimes there are problems. Nothing ever runs completely smoothly, right? So where can you go to reach out for help with summarizing? So of course you want to start with your school. And if this is about, your summarizing accommodation plan before summarizing starts, then start with the IEP team at your school, right? But if this is after summer has started, or if this is with, the summarizing program, then it's the school site, right? So whatever site your child has been assigned to, if there are issues, you want to start by working with staff there. Whether that's the parent coordinator of that site or the principal, or the CBO site director, right? Those folks can be allies. They're there to welcome your child, and they want your child to participate in their program. So reach out to that site director if you are having any issues. And they would be your first line of contact. If that does not resolve the issue, or if it kind of goes beyond the site even before summer starts, as I mentioned earlier, the Department of Education has created an email box, summer@schools.nyc.gov, to troubleshoot issues related to summer rising. So if the application portal isn't working for you, if there are questions very specific to your child that your school cannot answer, definitely I would encourage you to reach out to this email address as soon as possible for assistance. If you have questions about if your child has an IEP and you have questions or concerns about the accommodation plan, or it seems as if the summarizing site isn't following it. If there are questions about special education busing, you can definitely email specialeducation@schools.nyc.gov. That is the centralized special education inbox, and those folks are pretty responsive in my experience. You can also reach out to the superintendent who oversees, the summarizing site as well. Those folks are also resources to you. Every superintendent has a family support coordinator, and that information is on the DOE's website. If you look up the school on the DOE website, you can easily find the contact information for the family support coordinator and the superintendent. And finally, you can contact Advocates for Children. We are here for help. Last summer, we got a lot of calls about about summer rising. So again, I'll share our contact information at the end of the presentation, and this will be emailed out to you as well. But call our helpline, email us if you have any questions at all. If you aren't able to resolve things with the DOE, or you don't get a response back quickly, and we know time is of the essence, please feel free to contact us and we will try to connect you with folks that can resolve your particular challenge. Also just wanted to put in a plug for other summer resources. A reminder for students who don't participate in summarizing, free summer meals are available to children under 18. That's a program that's run through the New York City Parks Department. They have not yet released the list of summer locations yet, but I am sure they will in the next few weeks. So just check out their website if you want to know more. And then Inside Schools has a list of free and low cost. Well, they have a list of free and low cost programs in general. So go on their website, check it out. It's for the regular school year as well as the summer. Some of their summer programs do have a cost for sure, but everyone that I have checked has had scholarship opportunities available. So that is another good resource, again, during the regular school year as well as the summer. So here is our contact information. You can call us. Call our helpline from 10 to 4, Monday through Thursday. The number is there. You can also 100% send us emails at info@advocatesforchildren.org. We will answer, your questions to the best of our abilities. And I do also want to take an opportunity now to answer some questions. So it looks like most of the questions in the Q&A have been answered, but I'm going to try to answer the ones that have not been. So there is a question. It looks like one of them folks are answering. My son with an IEP attends a non-public school. When I tried to sign up for Summer Rising, the system didn't recognize them. Okay, so Rachel, I'm thinking if you could email us at Infosys, because if you haven't gotten, I think I had mentioned earlier that there are issues with some kids enrolled in private schools that have not been able to sign up for Summer Rising for whatever reason using the portal. And since you haven't gotten an email back yet, and it is time sensitive, if you can email us at info@advocatesforchildren.org, we will try to resolve this. I know people's individual email addresses basically. And so we will try to get your child enrolled if you can't get an answer through the Summer Rising inbox. So please email us at Infosys and we will try to address this because I want to make sure it gets resolved before the deadline passes. I see someone else wrote, my child's school doesn't have a Summer Rising program, but they will have summer school. I'm not sure why. If they're in grades K to 8, I don't know why that would be the case. Because any program, like they're really meant to go hand in hand. There should not be any school that is offering summer that is having summer school, like mandated summer school for kids who are promotion endowed, that is not also participating in Summer Rising. So I'm wondering if they are actually going to have summer school, or what the situation is with that, because that doesn't quite make sense to me. I see another question: are the ride shares free? Yes. So the DOE is they're prepaid. So you would get at least how it worked in the past is they send you a code that you enter when you request the ride, and then the DOE pays for it. So it's like with Uber, it's their account, so you don't have to worry about paying for it. They will take care of it. They don't pay for a tip, so if you want a tip, you would have to do that, I guess. But they pay for it. You don't have to worry about it. I do see someone's hand is raised. So I'm gonna go ahead, and I see a couple of folks' hands are raised. So I'm gonna go ahead and just let you go ahead and ask your questions. For those who do need to leave, you can go ahead and do that. But for those who want to stay and ask additional questions, please um, feel free to stay and ask. So Luca, you had
Hi,
a question? Yes, go ahead.
I did. Thank you. And I did ask, I guess part of